At 10,000 meters above ground in a hot air balloon, the woman suddenly passed out, her body starting to slip. Lucy woke up instantly. She tried to grab the balloon's rope, but her reaction was too slow. When she became fully conscious, she frantically grabbed the rope in terror. The rope saved her life, but she realized she was now dangling in midair at 10,000 meters.
James!
She shouted for her boyfriend, but he was unconscious, possibly already dead. In this life-or-death moment, she could only rely on herself. With all her strength, she swung herself toward the basket. She made it back into the basket, but the danger wasn't over. Her boyfriend was still unconscious, due to lack of oxygen. By now, the balloon had climbed to 14,000 meters. She had to lower the altitude, but the release valve was completely frozen, not responding at all. The balloon kept rising. If she couldn't bring it down, they would die for sure. So she made a bold decision. She would climb up the balloon to manually release the air. This was extremely dangerous. One mistake could be fatal, but she had no choice. After a difficult climb, she finally reached the edge of the balloon. But when she looked up, the top was still far away, and her hands were already frostbitten. She tried to grab a nearby rope, but it was out of reach. Now Lucy was severely oxygen deprived, almost ready to drift off to sleep. But when she looked up and saw her unconscious boyfriend, she snapped back to alertness. With every ounce of strength, she reached out again. Lucy succeeded. To keep from falling, she pulled herself up with the rope, then started climbing again. After countless struggles, she finally reached the top of the balloon. She struck the valve with her elbow, but nothing happened. The ice layer was too thick, so she stood up and kicked the valve with all her force. When air finally escaped, the balloon began descending. Her boyfriend woke up, and everything seemed back to normal. But Lucy noticed something even more terrifying. Snowflakes began drifting down slowly, even hanging motionless in the air. She looked outside in confusion, only to realize the balloon was falling faster than the snow. If this continued, they'd be smashed to pulp. They quickly pulled the release valve, but the balloon was completely out of control, descending faster and faster. Then they started lightening the load, even throwing out their coats. But the descent speed didn't slow down at all. Just then, her boyfriend suddenly thought of a solution.
We need to lose the basket! It's the heaviest weight, come on!
As the basket detached from the balloon, their descent speed instantly slowed, but it still wasn't safe enough. The balloon was getting closer and closer to the ground. Lucy decided to make one last attempt. She stood on the suspension ring, preparing to jump off to reduce the weight.